All right, and we are live. Dink dink. Usual shout out to Jen and Julian. But yeah, hopefully this is going to work properly. For those of you that don't know, for the past 2 weeks, ever since like a few days before I left for Con of Thrones in Dallas, I've had to rebuild my entire computer with all the programs and all that good shit that have been on it. So I'm still working out those kinks. I tried to do face cam, which you'll see in this next screen here. It didn't really work out too well, so I just put up a picture of Daenerys. I gotta figure out why, for some reason, it wants to buffer. Like, that shit looked crazy. It looked like I was a puppet with my jaw splitting open. What are those called? I don't even know what type of puppets those are, but yeah, it's pretty nuts looking. So I'm like, okay, that's not gonna work. And the thing is I set up my OBS last year before season 7 even started, so I had everything figured out when it comes to, 1080p 60 fps video and audio. So I gotta redo that. Probably should maybe not work on it right before the live stream. But if you guys couldn't tell, this was very actually, no, it's not last minute. I've been live streaming on Thursdays for like the past month now. That's the only day I'll do my live streams. But just a little treat for the future. I do have in the near future, rather, I have a live stream coming up with Phil the Issues Guy and Johnny the Irish Wildling if he's down. We're going to be, rocking with you guys here. Waiting for Johnny to get back. He's on the potato farm, farming the potatoes. First two. Potatoes, boil them, mash them, stick them in a stew. So yeah, we're going to be getting started here. Shout out to everybody that is already in the chat. You guys are fucking amazing. You guys have your notifications turned on. And I saw Forrest, she told me that you didn't get notified from YouTube. Instead, you saw on Facebook. Surprise, surprise there, YouTube. Fucking up already. They've probably demonetized this stream just for me saying that. Let me stop while I get ahead. But one thing that's cool is I have this nifty little animation. It's an updated version of my normal loading screen for streams, which is the red lightning on a black field. That's my sigil, in case you were wondering. I saw a couple people commenting on my Westworld videos. I guess those are newer subs or just newer viewers. They were asking me what that is in the bottom. That is Sir Hunt's, but also my channel logo. But it's also an S for Sir Hunt's. Cool, all that worked out. All right, where the fuck is it? So I figure we're once I actually start the live stream, I'm gonna start off by reading a little bit from Daenerys' first POV chapter in A Game of Thrones. If you guys are down for that, you should be. You fuckers. Oh shit! We got a super chat already. Oh man! Super chat from B1 Mary. What's that symbol? Asterisk, I guess? Starry Sky, thank you. She or he says, let's start the choo-choo! Oh, you didn't get notified either? God damn it. Crazy. Evan Steele, what's up, man? Yeah, I haven't seen you in a while. How you been? Real quick, everyone that's here. Shout out to B1 Mary, Starry Sky, Cindy Sammy, Evan Steele, Forrest Blurta, Heather Turner, John Haymaker, Just Chris, Nikolai Jurikin, Reza, Ezza, Shower G, Talamaska Den, the Drone God of Tits and Wine, Wasser 30, and I saw you, Terry, but I don't see you no more. Terry Melendez was one of the first ones here as well. It's a huge, awesome sponsor of mine. If it wasn't for him, I would not have been able to get to the Con of Thrones in Dallas, Texas. So for the next couple minutes, well, not even couple minutes, for the next 1 minute, I'm going to allow everyone to get in the party so we can start it. But like I said, no face cam today because for whatever, I'll turn it on just to show you guys how it looks, just for shits and giggles, but I'm just going to immediately turn it back off. But yeah, so yeah, let's begin. Well, no, wait, no, damn it, I didn't mean to say that. Not let's begin. Let's wait, and then we'll begin. Yeah, let's do that. Yeah, get loaded up here. Loaded up. Gonna shoot some heroin real quick. Fuck. I've been watching Drugs Inc. in my free time. Watching Drugs Inc. and playing GTA 5. I don't know if you guys play that. Played on PC. Played on Xbox since it came out, but I recently, bought a nice SSD for my computer, so I've been able to play some pretty intensive games or CPU intensive games on my computer because of this new SSD. So yeah, I've been playing GTA in my free time when I'm not reading up for videos. The next video will be out on Sunday after this. This is the last live stream. So this is my Friday, if you guys will, of the week. In case you also haven't figured it out yet, and it's most likely my fault because I don't do a very good job of promoting it, but my upload schedule is Sunday through Thursday. How many videos you'll get during those days, those are not set. But what is said is that if I have a live stream and if I'm going to upload a Game of Thrones or a Westworld video that week, it's going to be Sunday through Thursday. I'm not uploading on Friday or Saturdays. Not like a personal choice or anything. Those are just the worst days for me to upload on my channel. Whenever I upload on those days, videos always do the worst. So I've just excluded those days. If you'll notice, a lot of the bigger YouTubers that have been doing this for way longer than I have only upload on certain days, and that's most likely why. YouTube deems, I think it has to do with whatever day you upload the most, and then YouTube takes that into account, so it doesn't, I guess, alert your, you know, all that good shit. But yeah, so for the next couple minutes, I'm going to be allowing people to get in here. Talk amongst yourselves. I'll be in the chat. Yeah, then we'll get this party started off quickly. I got to give people extra time to get here because I literally just sent out, notification for this like 30 minutes ago. So. on, child. Got the chat up. Do I have my brain here? Oh, there she is. Look at her. Look at her with her beautiful face. All right, look, that border is not really doing what it's supposed to, so we'll take care of that. All right, so how are you guys doing today? Welcome to Sir Hunts. My name's Mark, and in this live stream, we're going to discuss, hopefully the audio is on point, but we're going to be discussing Daenerys and everything about my queen. For those of you that don't know, I'm in love with Emilia Clarke, so any scene or any screen time she gets is going to be my favorite. But what I wanted to do was start off by reading a bit from Daenerys' first POV chapter in A Game of Thrones. Let me find the right page here. And Terry, I saw your comment about me not sounding as enthusiastic and, my normal self in that last Game of Thrones video. Main reason being is because, for one, I wanted to touch back on my original video editing style, which was writing a script, and it's really hard to do that, like to sound as enthusiastic and as excited as I do while reading a script, because when that happens, I start screwing up words. So the point was to try to get across like calmly. I just wanted to try something different, basically, and also remastering the audio. I think I commented this, but remastering the audio and putting it through the different filters that I put it through makes it dull down so it doesn't peak as much. So like as right now, when I just did that, the audio jumped into the red. So when I'm running it through my audio software, there's an encoder on it that takes all of those red peaks and puts them down back in the right decibel. So it takes out the, oh man, this is fucking amazing. You know what I mean? It takes away from that, but no doubt. All right, so yeah, let's go to the first. You would think I would have this bookmarked, but I don't, because I'm not that prepared. I ain't changed too much. Fucking A. Give me 1 second here. How's everybody in the chat doing? How are you guys? How's your week been? It's almost the weekend. I don't work a typical, Monday through Friday, so any day I want could be the weekend for me. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, no, you guys got any plans? It is the summertime. You know what? I can't. Okay. Look, we're just going to do this. Actually, you know what? There's a really good question that I wanted to respond to. We'll start off with doing that. Let's see. This is from Richard SL, and he says, in season 1, episode 2, Bran wakes up exactly when Ned kills Lady. Was that some sort of blood sacrifice to the old gods, or does it support that only death can pay for life? What can that foreshadow? Like a million things to sundown. Was Lady the blood sacrifice to rake Bran from the coma, though? I don't think so. I feel like Bran was going to wake up from that coma regardless. That coma was sort of like the, I guess you could say like a training montage, if you want to. Like, Bran had to fall from that tower for his abilities to awaken. So I'm trying to relate it to, there's this one room in Dragon Ball Z where all the Z fighters go to train because time passes differently there, and I can't remember the fucking name of that. But it's at the Supreme. It's on top of Kami's tower, right? Yes, there's a room there where they literally go there to train. So in my mind, that's what Bran was doing. Like, he was gonna wake up regardless. I don't think there needed to be a blood sacrifice for Bran to awaken from this coma that he was in. I think Bloodraven had already planned for that to happen. I think maybe you could argue that because the show set it up that way, like one scene after the other, you could argue one point being that, yeah, life has to pay for death, the death has to pay for life. So you could sort of look at it that way, but I honestly think Bran would have woken up from that coma regardless. Let's see if we can't get all Daenerys questions, though, because I forgot this is the Daenerys Focus live stream. B1 Mary Starry Sky says, do you think Dany died during childbirth, or did she just go through transformation into it? She definitely didn't die. I think both her and Jon are completely transformed. Like, Daenerys died in the mental sense, I guess, and then the Mother of Dragons was born. Jon Snow died in the physical sense, and then Jon Snow was born again, because he literally didn't change. Speaking of which, we actually have David from LML in the chat right now. He actually uploaded a panel where we were talking about Jon Snow coming back from the dead. And I think one thing that we all agreed on was that his character was not changed at all on the TV show. Yeah. I mean, a little bit. He was like, he looked meaner. And I don't think he would have killed Ollie had he had not died. So you could say that, I guess, less hesitant on making those tough decisions. That's what Jon did there. I'm working at E3 today. Is that the gaming convention? Nice, dude. Fuck yeah, John Haymaker. House Stark. Hey, Mark, what kind of relationship with Dany? House Stark, isn't that you? Ashley Marie, didn't you change your username? Isn't that you? She says, hey, Mark, what kind of relationship would Dany have had with her mom, do you think? I haven't heard too much. Oh, that is a good one. I haven't heard too much about her mom other than she died giving birth to Daenerys. Interesting. If Dany had a relationship with her mother, I feel like I always jump to this, and I don't know why, but I feel like when it comes to mothers, they're... this is going to sound fucking crazy. Hopefully I won't offend anyone. This is just my thoughts and opinions. But I feel like it's more important for a mother to be a part of her son's life. And then important for a dad to be part of his daughter's life. The main reason being is because you're one or the other sex. Like, you're a boy or a girl. So you need a mom to teach you how to treat a woman, to how to respect women, all that good shit. You need a woman to teach a man that. And then for a woman, I guess without sounding like a chauvinist, a woman needs to learn what a good man is. Like, you know, how her father, I guess you can say this is why women fall in love with their dads. But you need a man to teach, I guess, to teach an up-and-coming woman. Dad, there's no way of saying this without sounding like a fucking chauvinist. I don't even know. I feel like daughters need their dads and sons need their mothers. So I think Daenerys would have turned out a little bit differently if she did have a relationship with her mother. As far as the aspects of that relationship and how that relationship would be, I feel like, I mean, I don't even know. I never thought about that. That's a really good question. I feel like it would be maybe a tumultuous one. Like, not maybe the best, because maybe Viserys would have been there, and obviously moms favor their sons, so maybe Viserys would have had a better relationship. Maybe he would have turned out a better person, and he wouldn't have abused Daenerys. And I mean, I don't know. I know I grew up most of my life without my real mom, and it's sad. It sucks, but, like, you know, I don't even know. What the fuck are we? Where are we? We're going down this hole here. Yeah, Q&A, Evan Steele. Can Daenerys work into the dragons like the Starks, or can, like, the Starks can work into their direwolves? That's a good one. I feel like if Dany could actually warg into her dragons, they would be a lot less resistant. They would be better flyers. I did a video way back when. It's actually linked down below in the descriptions, and I explained in that video why dragons need riders. There's a reason why Targaryens and Valyrians of old would mount the dragons. 2 heads are better than 1. If it was possible for a dragon to do everything that someone who had a dragon with a dragon rider had on it, then I'm sure the Targaryens wouldn't have hopped on those dragons and directed them to go and do what they needed them to do. So I feel like every single dragon needs a rider to live out to its full potential. You realize Drogon's been the one who's survived this long. And maybe, just maybe, if Viserion had someone mounted on him, they would have seen the ice bite coming and he would have ducked, dipped, dived, dodged, and ducked. Maybe potentially moved out of the way of that javelin. So yes, I do think that Daenerys is doing some form of warging into her dragons, just not actually warging into them. It would be perfect if she could do that. But that, you know, that sort of opens up, I guess, the line of talk of, like, the Starks are children of ice and the Targaryens and the Valyrians of old are children of fire. But there is some precedence that some people think there are some Targaryens mixed in with ancient members of House Stark, maybe even the First Men. It's not the first time they came over to Westeros when Aegon conquered Westeros. They had already been here before. Dragonstone was used as a trading outpost, so there's 100% a possibility that could have happened, and we just don't know about it. One thing that I will say is Fire and Blood comes out in motherfucking November, So we'll get maybe some more insight into that. A lot of people were initially jumping on the train that, we'll find out where Dany's dragons came from. No, not gonna happen. Most likely we'll get a hint to their origin, but no way. If you can dodge a wrench, you can dodge a ball. That's probably one of my favorite quotes of all time. Nancy T in the house. How you doing, girl? David said, I gave a 5-minute book-centric speech, and everyone was like, half the people might not know what the F you just said. Well, here's the thing. For that panel that you're talking about, I think it got sidelined, mainly because it was supposed to be a show panel. Like, it was supposed to mainly focus on, because Jon Snow hasn't come back in the book, so there's not really much precedent, you know what I mean? And everybody up there was book readers. You know, I've listened to every single POV chapter. Look, to be honest with you, in A Storm of Swords, I kind of fell off with listening to, you know what I mean? But yeah, no, I think most of the people that they had set up on that panel were avid book readers. So it sort of turned into a book discussion. But I felt like it was supposed to mainly be focused on Jon Snow and coming back in the TV show and how he's changed because of his death, even though he didn't change. I'm going to let you guys know a secret. I intentionally picked that channel because I was like, look, we're just going to be shooting the shit for like an hour because Jon hasn't changed much at all. That's just me, though. I don't know. That's just my opinion. Oh, shit. We got a super chat from Nancy. She says, can't stay, but dropping by to drop you a little something. I loved the last video. Well, thank you, Miss Nancy. Look, I really do appreciate the super chat, but I am mighty cold in my bedroom without my Targaryen blanket at night to keep me warm. I don't know what's going on with that, but I have not received my blanket yet, my lady. I'm just kidding. But yes. Yes. Thank you for that super chat. Donnie Locklear says, I know you're all about Dany, but I feel like she is going to be sacrificed. What? I think everything in the world of Ice and Fire is one big cycle. I believe Jon will have to take the Night King's place. No. See, here's the thing. Okay. For Endgame, for Game of Thrones, for the television series, there is no need to replace this person with that person. There's no need to give the Night King a Night Queen. There's no need for someone to replace the Night King. I think once it's all said and done, magic won't exist. Dragons are going to be gone. Most likely, Daenerys' dragons are going to die in the final battle. Most likely, Bran is going to die in the final battle. And what's definitely going to happen is the Night King is going to die in the final battle. It would not make much sense if for some reason they could strike a bargain with this dude to be like, hey, look, enough killing, enough growing your army. You know, I'm here to stop winter. Please go back north beyond the wall that you knocked down that stood for thousands of years. Please go back there. And you know what? Look, if I'll give you myself as I just can't see it. There's no way. I can't see that happening. What I do see happening is that there's a death of magic, and in that death of magic, Ice and Fire, the song of it, dies, and it lives on through humans. Honestly, an equal playing field is what we're going for here. So you have the Bittersweet, where bitter being certain characters die, all magic dies, all dragons are dead, every magical creature is dead, or at least gone into a dormant state, right? And then the sweet part of that is that Dany or Jon lives, or they both live. And, you know, if they both live, they can't have kids. If one of them dies, one of them lives, and they have a child. So, Jon Snow is... look, you know what? I'll just talk about what I did in my... What I talked about in my video yesterday, from yesterday, which was Jon Snow is... during a Dance with Dragons, he's having a crazy dream, and he's woken up by Lord Mormont's crow. Or Raven. And ravens actually can talk in real life, by the way. I didn't realize this until I looked it up. Ravens are fucking intelligent birds. But anyway, not only can they mimic voices and words and stuff, but they can also sound almost exactly the same. I guess that would be mimicking a voice. But I've heard they mimic sound effects too. But either way, the crow says corn several times, calls Jon Snow by his first name, by his full name, which he's never done before, so Jon notices that. And then that obviously leaves you with, why is he saying corn so many times? You look it up, Corn King is like in several different ancient religions, and he's basically this figure that, and he's not known as the Corn King in every one of them. I think, I can't even remember what his Greek counterpart would be. Somebody type that in the chat. But basically, it's the father figure who sacrifices himself for the greater good, for the harvest. So Jon Snow being called Corn King by this raven, and also the fact that he's the one who's most likely going to sacrifice himself for the greater good. I think Jon's going to be that martyr that has to die. If there's going to be one of them, I vote that Jon will be that. But I can't see Daenerys' journey coming all the way across the ocean, reuniting / destroying the wheel, but reuniting the Seven Kingdoms, hopefully bringing them all under, maybe we'll have one giant kingdom with a house of elected officials who represent them. But yeah. I just don't see Daenerys. There's no way that, she comes from being the mother of the people and doing all this stuff. And then I guess she could be. Quinn from Ideas of Ice and Fire made a really good point in our Daenerys panel about that. But I don't know. I just see Jon Snow being more the martyr. And yeah, it is a little bit moronic or it does seem a little silly to have him die and then have him die again in the end. But, maybe that's the only reason why he was brought back. Maybe the magic that keeps... This is a brain bomb going off on you. But maybe the magic that keeps Jon Snow alive dies when they kill the Night King. Or dies when they kill Melisandre. And Jon ends up dying unwillingly. That would be some fucking bittersweet shit. Bet you've never heard that anywhere before. I bet you. But yeah, no, that would be nuts. What if since all magic dies, the magic that's keeping Beric and Jon Snow dies as well? That would be fucking nuts. Hang on, I gotta let my little baby kitten in. Scratching at my carpet. Come on, dude. Y'all wanna see him real quick? Here, I'll throw him up there. You guys can see my kitty cat. Hey, you guys wanna see my vagina? Whoa. It actually worked. Let's see how laggy it looks. Oh man, my God. Sir Hunts, Jesus Christ. You can obviously tell I was not ready to be on this camera. Let me do this. Oh wait. Didn't mean to do that. There we go. Jesus. Hang on, let me grab a kitty cat. Come here, man. He's fucking pissed because I didn't run to go to Walmart to get. He only eats a specific type of wet. Whoa, dude, chill, relax, bro, relax. Just show your face real quick. He was in the middle of eating. All right. Oh man, I'm taking my face off though. Jesus Christ, that's like something from a nightmare. Bing. All right, Sir Hunts has disappeared. Look at that, fro. Yes, this is what happens when I don't condition it properly. Oh man. Oh yeah. We're going out there. You know what I was gonna do for Game of Thrones? For Con of Thrones, I was gonna do like a black Jon Snow, where I would look like, like a black Jon Snow. All right, so yeah, let's get back on topic. You know what? This is fun. I act like you guys are here for a specific type of mark, and then I have to be all organized. But I think, I'm taking a leap here. I feel like you guys like me for me. Can we say that? You like me for me, but she doesn't look. 90s reference. Who can finish that lyric down in the comment section? Balerion the Black Dread. Yes, his name is Anubis Balerion. Not Dread, but Black from Harry Potter. So I combined 3 of my favorite things in the world: Game of Thrones, Egypt, and Harry Potter. Yeah, that's right. I'm a Potterhead, dude. I think we're all secretly Potterheads. My granddaughter has the same morning hair. Are you saying my hair looks like a woman? It should be there soon. I texted the tracking info. Oh, really? Oh, damn. I didn't get that. Maybe I did get that text and I just didn't see it. Okay, I'll go check that out on my phone after this. Thank you, Nancy. Oh, I'm excited now. I'm going to be nice and warm. I'll turn my camera back off. I don't think I look that ugly, do I? Let's see. Look, I'll be honest with you. I'm a vain-ass dude when it comes to, like, certain shit. So like I have this huge zit right here, and that's the only reason why I didn't. That in the audio was not lined up at all. I don't know why it's working great now all of a sudden, but yeah, no. Sir hunts for hair conditioner. You guys want to see what I use? You guys want to see my hair products? Alright, so I use this. Oh damn, this is gonna drip water. Oh my god. Really? Why the fuck is there so much water in there? Jesus Christ. I'm gonna ruin my fucking computer equipment trying to show this shit to you guys. Okay, so this is what I use for my hair, like as the actual conditioner. It's some good shit. It smells fucking lovely. And then this is what I use for afterwards. This is the secret right here. This shit's like $11 for this container, but it's called Miss Jessie's Multicultural Curls. That's the secret. If you guys can't see, my dog's back there on the floor. Hey, Dee Hazel. Hey, dude. Come here. Come here. Come here. Were you in that deep of a sleep? Come here. He's so lazy. That's probably my fault, though, because we always go out walking in the heat. It's not my fault that it's hot as hell down here. All right, dude, go lay back down. Go lay back down. No, I don't want to let you up because she's sleeping. Go ahead. Go lay back down. Well, he doesn't want to lay down. All right, but yeah, let's get back on track here. Let's focus, Mark. Looking like the Shepherd Book from Firefly. I did watch that show, but I don't know, can't think of that character. What Hogwarts house am I? Psh, probably Slytherin. I'm just kidding. No, I'll be cliche and I'll say, most likely I'd be Gryffindor, but I don't know. I might have some Slytherin tendencies. This fucking vape bit. Jesus Christ. Weirdest thing. Vape pens aren't supposed to do that. Right? It looks like I had a fucking seizure on my face. I was trying to cute wink at you, but it looked, yeah, that was funny. Q&A. Oh, so now you want to come in? This loud bastard. You guys know him. Come on, boy. Come on, boy. Get your fat ass in here, boy. My girlfriend's going to wake up and be like, why the fuck are you screaming? I'm like, look, I'm doing a live stream. Look at my fat man. He's famous. You guys know him. Say hi, kitty. Say hi, kitty, kitty. Now you don't want to do it? For real? I'm a big fat boy. I like cuddling with him. You pick him up and it's like hugging a fucking pillow. Hufflepuff? You think so? I'm just kidding. Shit, I'll take Hufflepuff. To be honest with you, if I was in a position to go to Hogwarts and get to sit with the Sorting Hat and become a fucking wizardary, I'd take it. I don't care which house you put me in. Who else is excited about, I think we got the trailer a few months back, but Fantastic Beasts, I think the sequel is coming out this fall. I'm excited about that. I enjoyed the first one. Who cares if it was not the same as the books? Who cares? It was a good movie. It was a good. I can't say that I've read Fantastic Beasts, so I'm not, but yeah, no, it was a good movie. I liked it. Q&A, other than the bittersweet ending, what do you think, why do you think all the magic will be gone? Because that's the one thing that drives this story. It's the one force that is always the determining factor in almost everything. If you have magic on your side in these battles, in this Game of Thrones, you kind of win. Daenerys has fire magic, dragons, everything on her side for her to win. No one else has that, so it's not fair. If we're ever going to move forward and progress society, it's got to be all on an equal playing field. I do think birthright is everything. It's the one truth, but speaking of which, I got a really funny story with David yesterday on Twitter. He he fucking commented and was like, he's like, I know you probably have some heretical ideas And I think I said that right. And I was like, oh yeah, man, hell yeah, birthright is everything. It's the one truth. And then I looked up the word, and it definitely means you have ideas that aren't the common norm. Like you don't think the way everyone else does. And I responded like, yeah, dude, birthright. Oh yeah. And yeah, I was fucking wrong. Come to find out, just because words sound similar doesn't mean they're the same. It's not hereditary. That's what I thought. I was like, oh, he's got a fancy way of saying hereditary. Oh man, I was laughing my ass off. That shit was so funny. Oh wait, I almost found it. No, that was the first one. Right? We spend so much time with the fucking Starks at the beginning of the first book. Not that I don't like the Starks, it's just we spend a lot of time with it. Oh wait, no, so yes, that was here it is. There we go. I found it. Daenerys. First chapter, Game of Thrones. I'm gonna read some shit from that. Let's actually get focused here, because there will be people that go back and watch this, and I don't want them to be like, oh my god, what are you doing, you asshole? 36 minutes in, and we've been having a blast. There was something else that I was gonna say real quick before we got started. Dude, are you really clawing at my fucking toe? Like, what made you want to do that? You don't do that. Oh, he's trying to fight you, kitty. He's trying to fight you, kitty, boy. They gonna fuck you up, boy. Yo, dogs wrestle, but cats are fucking insane. I woke up this morning to them both trying to fit in the same bed. They were fucking each other up. All right, so yeah, I'm gonna go into my reading voice. So I'm gonna turn this off here just for a second. Her brother held. Got to get all the laughs out first. I'm sorry. Oh man, I just thought of some really funny shit from Con of Thrones. Yeah. Her brother held the grown-up for her inspection. Or, what the fuck? Her brother held the gown up for her inspection. This is beauty. Touch it. Go on. Caress the fabric. Dany touched it. The cloth was so smooth that it seemed to run through her fingers like water. She could not remember ever wearing anything so soft. It frightened her. She pulled her hand away. Is it really mine? A gift from Maester Illyrio, Viserys. Don't do your British impression. Okay. Her brother was in a high mood tonight. The color will bring out the violet in your eyes, and you shall have gold as well, and jewels of all sorts. Illyrio has promised. Tonight, you must look like a princess. So this shows you the abusive relationship in Daenerys' first chapter. It's her brother showing her stuff to make her more attractive. She's going to be putting on airs because she's got to impress Khal Drogo. So the person they're staying with, Illyrio Mopatis, we see him very briefly in season 1 with them when the Khal shows up. And then also we see him meeting with Lord Varys in the underneath King's Landing where all the dragon skulls are held. But either way, you get to see in her first relationship in her first POV chapter, that one of the first relationships she has with a man is as an abusive person. When we were on my Daenerys panel, VK Vanessa Cole, who does amazing art for Westworld and Game of Thrones, and she's also a panelist over on Indie Geeks Sunday Westworld chat. We were on a panel together. We were on 2 panels this year and on, I think, like 2 or 3 last year as well. But she made a really good point of saying that Viserys, you got to look at his journey full on. Like, yeah, he's a douche and he's a dickhead, but he's known as the Beggar King. He's always on the run. He had to sell everything that he's, hold dear to his life just to survive, just to get food to eat, just to find housing and stuff to stay. But also, he's older than Daenerys, so he remembers what it was like when they were in power. Daenerys doesn't. Daenerys was born at the fall of their power. So Viserys, there's a little bit of oh, I kind of feel bad for him, but for the most part, he's a dickhead. A princess, Dany thought. She had forgotten what that was like. Perhaps she had never really known. Why does he give us so much, she asked. What does he want from us? For a nigh on half a year, they had lived in the Maester's house, eating his food, pampered by his servants. Dany was 13, old enough to know that such gifts seldom come without a price. here in the free city of Pentos. Illyrio is no fool, Viserys said. He was a gaunt young man with nervous hands and a feverish look in his pale lilac eyes. The Magister knows that I will not forget any friends when I come into my throne. You'll get a golden crown, all right, you bastard. Dany said nothing. Magister Illyrio was a dealer in spices, gemstones, dragonbone, and other less savory things. He had friends in all of the 9 free cities. It was land beside the Jade Sea. What the fuck? I'm like jumping around. See, this is why it's hard for me to sound enthusiastic while reading a script. My brain goes, no, just try to do the words. Don't try to do impressions. So, yes. We have that. We touched on... Oh, man. This is going to be so much fun when I go back and rewatch this and just get fucking embarrassed. Is it still streaming? Okay. That was weird. That was really weird. Let's do some questions. I guess that we'll keep this under an hour. Let's do some questions. You guys want to do some questions with me? You guys want to do some questions with me? Is it not playing? Okay, there we go. All right. I had a lot of shit that I wanted to touch on, but I don't know. I'll save it for a video. I was gonna touch on a little bit of, a theory for Daenerys, but those do better in videos, so we'll do that then. Q&A, Sir Hans, I'm still confused about your last video. When you said Dany saw the birth of Jon Snow, do you care to elaborate? I'm always open for new ideas, but I always thought she saw Arya. Well, yes, and I think I responded to your comment in that comment section. What I did was retrofit a prophecy so that it fits for the TV show. Fagon's not a character in the TV show, and that's most likely for a reason. George gave Dan and Dave an outline for his story, so they know for the most part who's going to make it until the end, whose story and whose journey actually counts the most. They chose to leave out Aegon, so it could be because they didn't want 3 Targaryens in the very end fighting for the crown, also fighting each other, or they could have left him out because this one's the more one that I lean on because he's fake. He's not. He's Fagon. He's a Blackfire pretender. So I retrofitted the prophecy that she has, or the dream that she has when she's in the House of the Undying, to fit for Jon Snow. She's still watching the birth of Aegon, but Aegon being Jon Snow. Do I think in the books that Rhaegar named both of his kids Aegon? Maybe. We don't really know much about Rhaegar. All that we hear about him is through other people's accounts. He's never had a POV chapter or anything like that, so we don't really know what his mindset is, but he could have... excuse me, with him growing up and, reading a lot of books and a lot of prophecies and then picking up the sword because he felt like he needed to, he comes from a long line of degenerates who inbred with each other. So it could 100% be possible that he wanted to start his family over and was like, you know what? Nah, fuck this. I'm going to seduce this young girl. I'm going to name my son the same because, you know what? I had misinterpreted the prophecy in thinking that it was Elia of House Martell of Dorne. No, I feel like it should be a daughter of ice. I am a son of fire. The two of us together, let's try this again. I want to name him Aegon because I want him to grow up and reconquer the 7 kingdoms. That's more of what I was just retrofitting something. It's a lot easier to just do it that way than to explain to you guys, well, technically, Daenerys is watching the birth of Aegon, who's a character in the books, who's not a character in the TV show, but certain characters in the books have been given arcs, or certain characters on the TV show have been given his arcs from the books. Like, it's way easier to just be like, no, Daenerys is witnessing the birth of Jon Snow here. Terry says the prophecies will all have been fulfilled. There will be no need of magic needed to rebuild. The wheel would have been broken and a new government being thought out. I think you're responding to someone else in the chat. Jason Bauer says, Sir Hunt, you look like you just stuck your finger in the light socket. Yeah, sounds about right. I've actually used that analogy a lot. I don't know if I've said it in videos. David said you might have heretical ideas about Hereditary, though. Hell yeah, probably. Q&A. if the magic is gone, are the seasons going to be normal? You watch Preston Jacobs? I watch Preston Jacobs. I think he's one of the main people who, at least that I've seen, come up with the theory that magic is the reason why the seasons are so extreme. Honestly, that would make the most sense. It could be because they're on a planet that is not Earth, and that's just normal that their seasons are like that, but it could also be that magic is heavily influencing the seasons. The problem, though, is that there's an insane amount of fire magic in Daenerys and just being present in the world with R'hllor and all that good shit. Why is there not a really long summer? Why aren't they worried about, like, can you imagine if that was flipped around? Instead of winter is coming, summer is coming, and during this time, it's the same idea of winter. It's like extremely hot, crops don't grow, you have to stay inside for the most part. But wouldn't that be nuts? I think that would be that would be even cooler and more badass, because just imagine how different the White Walkers would look. Imagine how, like, oh man, imagine how different everything would look. That would be nuts. And then that would mean that Jon Snow or Daenerys, her type of people, would have to come from the north. So you'd have her riding a giant dire wolf. Done. Mark blowing heads. Blowing heads. Q&A, what do you think about Dorne? Can we see the fourth daughter of Oberyn and Ellaria leading the Dornish army? I don't think they will leave Dorne out of everything in the show. I disagree with that. I think they're leaving Dorne out as much as possible. They tried to bring it in season 5. They saw audience reaction. They wrote terrible lines for the Sand Snakes. We didn't see them much in season 6 until the very end, and then as soon as we see them in season 7, they get killed. So I don't think that Dorne is going to be a thing on the TV show. And then you got to remember too, Ellaria killed Oberyn. Trystane was killed by the Sand Snake. So there's nothing after the two that Cersei has in her red cells. After they die, which you remember, she kissed Homegirl on the lips and left Ellaria to watch her die. So I'm assuming those are the last two people we'll ever see from Dorne. Maybe at the very end they'll go and they'll do like a panned out shot of like showing someone struggling for power down there, but I don't think they're going to be brought into the show. Definitely not Oberyn's fourth daughter. George R. R. Martin has said it's Earth, which is kind of disappointing. Is it? Did he say specifically this is Earth? Because he named it Planetos. I don't remember seeing in that interview. Q&A, I had a debate with a coworker who believed Dany completely trusts Jon Snow, but I don't think so. I think she's still keeping her eyes on Jon. Sex doesn't lock Dany down. What do you think? Well, hell yeah. She was, I think that's one thing the show's done a good job of showing you that she's independent in the sense that she doesn't want she doesn't want Drogo to dominate her. She wants to dominate him. She wants it to be like a partnership, right? So she learns early on that sex can be used as a tool. Not to say that both sex was used as a tool in any sort of way. I think she's strong enough and she's independent that she can separate sex from feelings. So I don't think that she's 100% like everything Jon Snow. No, not at all. I think it's going to be interesting to say the very least when she finds out that that's her nephew. I don't know if she'll have such a big deal with it. I think Jon's going to be the one who has more of an issue with it. Jon's the do-gooder. So he's going to be like, my conscience, I can't do it. I can't sleep with my aunt. You know what I mean? We named it Planetos? No, we didn't. No, it's called Planetos. We didn't name it that. Any more questions? Q&A, who wants some ginger minge? I had some this morning. Like, bro, come on, dude. Natural redhead over here on my girlfriend. So yeah, the carpets match the drapes. Q&A, what's your thoughts on Dany's lemon gate? Is Aerys and Rhaella really Dany? What? So the red door in Dorne, the lemon tree, is that what you're talking about? I don't think that Dany's parents have been lied to us. I think she's been lied to about where she stayed at, but I don't think that just because she remembers things as a child, she's from Dorne. I know that Dorne is like the only place where lemons can grow. even though that's never been officially said, people just assume that since lemons in the real world grow in nothing but sunlight, that's the only place she could have been. And we have heard of lemon trees in Dorne before. So, I mean, I don't... I think she's been lied to about her past, but I don't think that her parents are... Are you getting at Rhaegar and Lyanna? Are you saying that they're twins? I don't think so. Sorry. I just don't see that. I have some her heretical beliefs, but that's not one of them. Really? The fandom dubbed it Planetos. For real. I'm going to look that up right now. That's just what I've always heard it. Really? Huh. I guess he seems okay with it. I have never heard of George being like, no, it's not called Planetos. Matter of fact, I've seen an interview where someone fucking called it that in front of him and he didn't even correct them. So, yeah, that's crazy. I didn't realize that. Learn something new every day. Do you think we get to see Jack and Hagar in season 8? Probably not. I think the only reason why we saw him during those, like, the Game of Thrones rap party is just because it was a rap party. If he does come back and if he does make appearance, however, I think it's not going to be to say what's up to Arya. I think it's going to be to collect a debt that's owed, and that death is death. She's been running around hanging out as a faithless man all willy-nilly, and if I'm not mistaken, they act in secret and they don't want everyone to know, you can just go and get some training and then you can kill a faceless man and then you get to leave. I don't think they're going to be okay with that. Q&A, I wonder if she's talking about the theory that Ned and Ashara... I've never heard the theory that Ned and Ashara are Daenerys' parents. I've heard that Ned and Ashara are Jon Snow's parents. But I've also heard heavily that a lot of people think that Daenerys is Jon's twin and that her father's really Rhaegar. I've never thought otherwise. I mean, I lean on the Ned and Ashara could be Jon Snow's parents, but definitely not Daenerys' parents. Makes no sense. Why does Daenerys look like a damn Targaryen? Ashara, no, I'm shutting that down. Here. Q&A, do you think that the bottom of Sothrios connects with the north? I don't know. I think if someone ever goes all the way west of Westeros, we might see that at some point there's a connection. But let me look at a map. I'll turn my camera back on for this one, so you guys can see it too. See, we got a fuck ton of maps here. Yeah, that's right. Sir Huns owns everything. The lands of always ice and fire. Let's see. The first map that I pulled out was Sothrios. It's a giant, fucking massive map. I've only used these for videos like twice. To be honest, I forget that I have it because it's over on my bookshelf. Oh, man. So what was the question? Do I think Sothrios connected to what? Do I think it connects with the north? I don't think so. I guess it wasn't the right map to pull out either. Jesus Christ. This is not a Daenerys podcast, by the way. This has turned into a random assortment of Q&A. Jesus Christ. No. Look, I'm gonna have to just say no. I don't think it connects. I'm not about to pull out all of these maps. That'll take forever. Jesus Christ, get back in there, fucker. I think what I'm gonna do here for the last little bit of this is just make some Daenerys-centric predictions for Season 8 and then wrap it up. This has still been a lot of fun. I don't know if you guys can agree with that, but I think it's been a lot of fun. Come on, get back in your fucking hole. Jesus Christ. There we go. All right, cool. All right, so if you're going to ask questions and you want me to answer them, please submit them in the form of Daenerys. As in, yes, Daenerys only questions, please. And I'll answer some of those in a second. I'm going to do some of my predictions. I don't know why that was buried in there. Fuck. Definitely don't want it sitting out getting coffee stains on it. All right. Daenerys, Game of Thrones, Season 8. Make that a little bit bigger. Yeah, there we go. Look at her. She's like, what? What? So, okay, I guess I'll ask myself a question. Do you think Daenerys will allow Jon Snow to mount Rhaegal in Game of Thrones, Season 8? Short answer, yes. Long answer, not unless Rhaegal is okay with it. No, in all seriousness, do I think Jon Snow is going to mount a dragon in Season 8? And will Daenerys be okay with it? Yes. I feel like we need someone who has some battle experience on one of those dragons. Daenerys has experience flying, but she's only been doing it for a few seasons. So I feel like if we have someone like Jon, who's a battle-hardened commander, he's going to introduce the idea of, hey, maybe we should put a saddle on these dragons. You know what else? Your dragons, 2 of them got hit with a spear. One of them was lucky to survive. The other one, is dead, and we're going to have to fight him. Maybe we should throw some armor on these bad boys. Maybe we should cover their underbelly. We do know that Rhaegal is not as big as Drogon, so his scales are not as thick. He cannot block as many things. And Daenerys is sitting up there with no armor. She's like a giant target. She's like a giant target, a weak spot on the dragon's back, and I would totally... Maybe that's who they're all aiming for. No, because Rhaegal didn't have anyone on him. But either way, someone needs to introduce the idea of armoring these dragons, and if Jon Snow gets the idea of armoring them, maybe it wouldn't be so hard for him to be like, hey, maybe I should try to mount this. I feel like having a mount on the dragon would do wonders, and when you want to pull up on it, when you want to pull back. We do know that Tyrion has manufactured a harness saddle for Bran, so we have the knowledge to put it there. We also have Sam, who's most likely read up on riding dragons. So you have the 2 of them who can combine their knowledge and totally use Gendry as the forge for that. Gendry with his blacksmith abilities, like, yo, show me the schematics and I'll build it for you. So any other questions? Have you guys have my thoughts help you formulate a Daenerys question? Chat. Q&A, given the choice, do you think Dany would pick Jon or Drogo in the present? Oh, that's a good one. I don't know. Because initially, Drogo was first brought up in her mind as someone who was chosen for her, right? So it's like an arranged marriage, and then she's kind of his captor at first, and she's like kidnapped, and she's on the TV show, she's raped. So if we're talking about TV show Daenerys, I think she would choose Jon Snow because that was her choice, and it was for love. But if we're talking book Daenerys, the relationship between Drogo and Daenerys is a little bit different. She hasn't met Jon yet, so book Daenerys would likely choose to have Drogo back because that was her moon and stars, or sun and moon. I don't even fucking know. I'm actually starting to get extremely hungry, so I'm also getting grumpy. Yeah, so book Dany would likely pick Drogo, but Daenerys on the television show would likely pick Jon, not just because Drogo raped her, but because she chose Jon for love. No one set up Jon as a potential suitor for her. No one set up Jon as someone that she has to marry. So she chose to have intimate relations with Jon. She fell in love with him. We saw it on screen in season 7. She slowly, subtly, when he left to go and capture White, that conversation they had right before she leaves, I think that's when she realizes, hey, I like this short little northern bastard. So, ladies, who would you pick? Dead Jon or dead Drogo? I don't know. Who would y'all pick? Oh shit, Gemma from Secrets of the Citadel's here. What's up, girl? Still waiting on the invite for that Con of Thrones live stream on your channel, my lady. Looking forward to it. Or just any sort of collaboration. I'm down. Dead Drogo. Drogo all day, every day. I haven't seen anyone say dead Jon. I guess they like him big. Guess they like the big boys. And see, here's the thing. I don't even think Kit Harington is that short. He's like 5'7" or something. But when you have all those other actors who are tall as shit, like 6 foot, he just looks shorter. And I think Emilia Clarke is like only a few inches shorter than him. So it's like height is everything. That's why he looks so. But he's also a smaller dude. He's probably like, if I had to guess with his height, I'd say he's right around 150. Well, maybe a little bit less than that. Maybe like 140. I know myself. I'm like 217. So I know he's a lot smaller than I am. Q&A, what will Dany find in Asshai? Well, Daenerys is not going to Asshai on the TV show. But if she does go there in the novels, she could likely find another clutch of dragon eggs. Maybe she'll find someone who knows the origin of her dragon eggs. Maybe Quaithe is there. There's a number of things she could find. She could also find ways to further strengthen her magical abilities. We do know that magic is practiced openly in Asshai, and they, sort of encourage that. There's like magic school and shit there, so 100% possible for her to find ways to enhance her magic, to better connect with her dragons, maybe find an origin for her dragon. There's a number of things she could find there. The better question would be, what would she not find in Asshai? I think everyone, book readers and TV shows, were curious to visit there, like in real time, not just hear about it from someone's point of view or something that they remember. There's like 50 different places that we want to actually go to and 50 different scenes that we want to actually see, and then it's all told from people who were there or, listening to internal monologue of someone who was there. Gemma says Kit is 5'8". Yes, 5'8" is most likely 5'7", because I myself am 5'10", but I definitely say 5'11" to give myself that extra inch. So his IMBD may say 5'8", but he's likely pushing 5'7". I wouldn't be surprised if he's 5'6". That's my dad's height. My dad's 5'6". My mom's like 5 foot. I get my height from her family, her side of the family. I have a cousin, like my mom's nephew, who was like 6'3", so I get my height from them. But I think Kit Harington might be adding that extra inch, because I know Sophie Turner's like 5'9", and he looks like he's like 3 inches shorter than her when she stands next to him. So I don't know. It looks a lot more than an inch. Q&A, this is a book question, but if you're on would have sent the slave, would have went to Slaver's Bay himself, given her... What? Let me read this in my head. Okay, instead of sending Victarion, maybe. I honestly feel like Victarion would come off as a safer choice than Euron. Euron's a wild bastard. He would come up with some crazy manipulative story and be like, hey, look, come with me. I feel like Victarion's going to kind of lay it to her straight, like, look, here's what it is. This is what I need you to do. Do you want to marry? You know what I mean? But, of course, with him being the actual, I mean... It would make sense. It was like if Jon were to send Davos instead of coming himself. Although I don't know. Because I definitely know show Daenerys more than I know Daenerys in the novels. Daenerys in the novels is a child, for the most part. It's kind of hard to predict the way that. Yeah, and I just don't know. I've seen the show more times than I've read Daenerys' POV chapters. To be honest with you, the three POV characters whose chapter I'm most comfortable with discussing is Tyrion, Bran, and Jon. Those are the ones that, and Theon, those are the ones that I find the most interesting. Those are the ones that I find myself re-listening to verses of. Like, I mean, Daenerys and Sansa, like, yeah, all the way. I'm just a massive fan of show Daenerys. So I feel comfortable predicting or answering your question, but it's coming more from a show Daenerys backdrop. It's not coming from a I know Daenerys 100% in the novels. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I mean, from just like a general power standpoint, it would make sense to send the leader instead of the messenger. So maybe she would respect that more. Someone said Victarion is doomed. Hell yeah, he's gonna get burned. He already has a smoldering arm. Next thing, he's gonna have a fucking smoldering body. I don't know if Makoro can save him this time. Jason Momoa being such a lovely husband and great dad makes him even sexier, in my opinion. Lady Warrior of House Tinfoil. So you like dads? You think dads are sexy? Q&A, do you think Howland Reed and Dany will meet? And what do you think the convo would be about? So, are you saying like for the TV show, obviously? That's more, wait, let me move Daenerys over. That's more of like definitely a TV show centric question. I mean, I don't know. I feel like Howland Reed would have the most interesting conversation with Jon. He was there right after he was born. He saw what happened, you know, when they first arrived in the tower. He can verify that his mother is who she is, and he can also verify that his father is who she is. And then he met Lyanna, I guess, at the Tourney in Harrenhal. I don't know if they're going to do that for the TV show. I don't know. I feel like I didn't even think about him having a conversation. I want him to have a conversation with Bran and Jon. I never thought about him having a conversation with Daenerys. It kind of caught me off guard there. I mean, it would be interesting. We'll say that. In the dictionary next to the word drool is a picture of Kit Harington. You could take that one of two ways. You could say that Kit Harington is spit and that he is nothing. He has the intelligence of mucus. You could also say that, you know, depends on how you look at that. Will we ever see Howland? Damn, where have you been? Should be all anyone asking. Exactly. Why the fuck haven't you shown up sooner to tell Jon right before he slept with his aunt who his parents are? And that's another thing too, is because he's gone so long, the show, they would have to spend so much time explaining where he's been, why he hadn't come sooner, and instead they could just make it so that he never makes an appearance. We have 6 episodes left. Every single moment is going to be spent with our final characters. You know, I honestly feel like there's going to be a major character death every single episode next season. We probably towards the 4th, 5th, and 6th ones, it's going to be multiple major characters who we spent time with since season 1. So I don't know if the perfect way to just rid themselves of that question in the writer's room of how are we going to explain Howland Reed's absence for this long is by just making him further absent. Then you have to worry about bringing him up after this because this is going to be the last season. Kit is a midget. I mean, he's a great actor and all, especially at his age, much like Charlie Hunnam. It's all an act. So you're saying he's short? Q&A, who do you think the Knight of the Laughing Tree was? Lyanna Stark all the way. We just talked about that. I feel like you're trying to quiz my Song of Ice and Fire knowledge, my dude. Go ahead, keep them coming. No, Mark, not spit. Who else watched Sons of Anarchy? I watched it for the first season. I was all about that show first season, but after that, not really. Charlie Hunnam for Rhaegar. Hell yeah, he would have been a badass Rhaegar. I saw him in what the fuck was that? The King Arthur movie that came out like in 2016. That's Rhaegar, bro. Like, oh man, that would have been a perfect Rhaegar. Q&A, when Dany arrives in Winterfell, how do you think that will unfold? Well, to that, I'll suggest to you a video that's linked down below in the description. There's a video down there, and I think it's the way that I have it titled in the description is Season 8 in-game theories, and then the link will take you to, the thumbnail is a picture of Sam, and then Jon and Daenerys are behind him. So Sam's like looking at a book or writing a book, and then Jon and Daenerys is behind him. In that video, I go into great detail how I think that initial encounter is going to happen. But to just sort of summarize, I think Arya is going to have some zingers for her. I think Sansa's going to have some zingers, but for the most part, I think Arya and Daenerys are going to connect right away. I think Sansa's going to be more hesitant to do so, for one, because she just had that interaction with Sansa last season, which didn't make any fucking sense at all, but she did have that interaction with her. Hang on, I gotta adjust this. It's really killing me. So that's gonna make her less hesitant to want to be open and less trusting of Daenerys initially. But I think her and Arya are bound to get, like, I don't know. I feel like Sophie Turner has a great personality, but I feel like Arya, maybe I just like Arya more, and I want my two favorites to like each other. Maybe that's what it is. But I think initially most of the North, including Sansa, are not going to be accepting of her. They're not really going to have a choice, but they're not going to be like friendly with her. I think Brienne and I don't know. I was about to say I think Brienne might like not be so trusting of her, but I don't know. I think Brienne is going to be respectful. She's going to obviously back whatever decision Sansa makes, and as whether she likes her or not. But I think ultimately Sansa's going to confide in her and be like, "Hey, Brienne, what do you think about this Daenerys woman?" Really, dude? I'm almost done. I literally have like 2 minutes left, and you're trying to. See you later. Goodbye. I've been wanting to do this for a long time. You are the weakest link. Goodbye. Do you guys remember that? Old school TV. Early 2000s TV. Go back sideways. I'm trying to look at the chat. Really, nigga? This dude, Mike. What the fuck, man? You about to get banhammered my motherfucking self before, unless one of my mods can grab you before I do. I'm not even gonna read your dumbass message because it's so stupid. You stupid fuck. Where is that? Like, where the fuck is? Can someone grab that dude? There he is, Mike. Yeah, fuck you, bro. Thank you, Secrets of the Citadel with the fucking panhammer. Fuck you, bro. And he came back again. Black people are apes with AIDS that rob people, destroy cities while riding, go to jail, and eat fried chicken daily. What the fuck, dude? Oh my god. That is a fucking... I've never seen a comment like that in my life. That is insane. Like, there's... Oh my... Jesus Christ, dude. Fucking A. Like, what? I've seen some shit where people come in here and they'll be like, you fucking idiot. Or someone called me a nigger one time, but I've never seen anything quite like that. Like, what the fuck? No, fuck timed out for 300 seconds. Ban that motherfucker. Out the moon door exactly. Like, fuck that. Jesus Christ. What the fuck? Oh my god. That is crazy. Q&A. This is from Gemma herself. Q&A. Who do you predict will be the first major character death in Season 8? Ooh. That's a good one. First major Dolores Ed. All of the second tier casts were promoted to first tier, so Dolores Ed is one of those. I think he's going to be the first. I think the very first opening scene. They said, spoiler alert. I mean, not really spoiler. They were saying the first scene is going to be in Wintertown. You know, right outside Winterfell. I think it's going to be in the north. I just don't know if the very first scene, maybe they'll quickly jump to Wintertown, but I think the very first scene is going to be the Night King attacking Castle Black. Castle Black has been one of those staples, just like Winterfell, that has been there the entire time. Once Jon finally got there, he started on his journey. So if we start out the final season of Game of Thrones with destroying such a hallmark like Castle Black, that shows us shit is real. And if they do destroy Castle Black, well, then they can kill Dolorous Ed. We do have the option that Beric and Tormund could be running there, but I don't think so. I think they're smart. They're going to run to Winterfell. They're going to use the same path that fucking Gendry took. And they're gonna take it down. Or maybe they stop at Castle Black and see that it's destroyed, and we don't actually see Castle Black getting destroyed itself. We just see the aftermath of it. That would be nuts. That would be fucking insane. Like, we see it through the eyes of Tormund and Beric. Africa is the mother of all humanity. Get educated, Mike. Hell yeah. Well, the cradle of civilization was in Africa for the longest time. They moved it to Mesopotamia, if I'm not mistaken. But yes, most. I mean, I don't even have to say nothing. That guy's just a fucking moron. I'm not gonna give him any more airtime on my channel. Why would he go to Castle Black though? He's already past the wall. That's the point. I mean, that's the thing though. Most people watching the TV show don't have Westeros mapped out like that. They're like, okay, I know Castle Black is in the north. I know Eastwatch is also in the north. They're not gonna look at it from a standpoint of like how you are, which you know how Westeros is set up. So you know they obviously don't do that because it doesn't make sense for him to be able to run from that frozen lake all the way back to Eastwatch. So yeah. Sansa's gonna marry Jaime? What? King Sansa? What? Instead of Kingslayer? I don't think I've ever heard anyone mentioning that. I don't think so, man. I don't think so. I think if Jaime's gonna marry anyone, Jaime's going to marry Brienne. Best fighter that's still alive. What? I mean, Jon Snow. Come on. Did you see that montage that I made at the start of my video from the other day? Jon Snow is a motherfucking monster. And then Arya, and then Brienne, and then not most people won't say this, but I think Bran is up there. Bran may be equal with Jon Snow's skill. The difference is we've seen Jon Snow's skill level. I can 100% say that Jon Snow is an excellent sword fighter. With Bran, it gets cut short. His fights don't last very long, and fights that don't last long, there's something to that. There's a reason why Bran is so good. So I don't know. I think Bran's up there. I'd have to be honest, I'm going to say Arya is tied with number one. But if we're looking at like from real life standpoint, if Arya is the size that she is, looking at how all of my fight knowledge and what I know about martial arts and stuff, it doesn't make sense for Arya to be as powerful as she is on the TV show. But from a TV show standpoint, she's training all the time. She's one of the few characters that has been training since season 1. People say, well, if you don't see her training on screen, she must not be doing it. No, she's been doing it this whole fucking time. She's been trained in water dancing. She's been trained in Westerosi sword fighting. She's been trained in Bravosi stick fighting. And then also the Faceless Men training, whatever the fuck you want to call that hand-to-hand combat shit. So Arya is a well-suited fighter. Most people are like, oh, it's a little girl who's 14. She weighs 100 pounds. There's no way she could do this and do that. Well, it's a fucking make-believe TV show. But the knowledge is there. It's not like she knows how to whoop Brienne's ass out of nowhere. No. And if you remember, Brienne technically would have won the fight. But either way, she can hold her own. So, you know, Arya is a bit OP, but everyone in Game of Thrones is OP. Jon had his fucking head smacked on an anvil. And no one even addressed that. He cracked his fucking skull on an anvil. You remember when he was fighting the thin dude? He literally smashed his fucking... You heard it ring. It was like, ding! And then that line that Ned said when he was older, and then that Jon said to Bran at the beginning, I'll ring your head like a bell. You got your head rang like a bell, and it didn't fucking affect you. So if you want to talk about OP, let's talk about Jon's OP ass with having his skull cracked the fuck open on a steel anvil and just continuing the fight like it was nothing. Jon should have been like... What is this? Like, he should have been down on the ground, just out, not even realizing who he was. So yeah, don't even get me off on that. Hunts, your dorky white guy voice is hysterical. Use that more. What's the dorky white guy voice? My normal voice? Oh, you got jokes, good sir. You got jokes. Arya gets too much crap for being OP. Well, look, everyone's fucking OP. That's what I'm saying. Like, that makes no sense. You really think that somehow Daenerys is able to fly that high and not have, like, the ability to breathe oxygen still? I don't think so. You really think she'd be able to hold onto his scales that hardcore while he's diving through the air like that? I don't fucking think. Not without a goddamn saddle. So yeah, everyone's OP on Game of Thrones. It's a TV show. He should have been like Deadpool, exactly. Not knowing what the fuck is going on. Like when Deadpool gets stabbed in the brain and he pulls it out and he's just like seeing birds and shit. Yes. That's how Jon should have been, except for dead. He should have had a concussion. Most likely, he probably went to sleep after that, and he never should have woken the fuck up. Like, I've watched that scene so many times. That's like one of my favorite, when the wall's getting attacked. That's like one of my favorite episodes. Oh, yeah. No, I know which one you're talking about. That's just my in general mocking voice. I don't know where that comes from. I watch a lot of, I don't know if you guys have ever heard of him, but I watch a lot of ETC Daily. They used to be a part of Machinima, and then they made their own channel. But yeah, no, I watch them a lot, and I feel like a lot of my go-to voices comes from voices that I've heard, because, like I said, I watch them all the time. Call my troll service line to get trolled. It's 240-563-2792. If that's your real number, good sir, fucking hey, you are a ballsy man. That's funny. Dany gets too much crap for being OP too. I haven't really heard too many people complain about how she's OP. One thing that I found myself complaining about last season is how she just seems so fucking entitled. She's like, but it's my kingdom. And, excuse me, after rewatching, it would not make sense for her character to say anything other than what she says in those scenes. It's very consistent with Dany's arc and Dany's story for her to be that way. I just was caught up in the comments on my videos. It's getting hundreds of thousands of fucking views and thousands of comments, and a lot of people saying the same shit, and you start to see different ways that lead up to that line of thinking, and you're like, okay, I can sort of see that, you know. Q&A favorite episode? I don't know. Favorite episode of season 6? Episode 2, the one where Jon Snow comes back. Season 7, probably episode 6 as well, Beyond the Wall. I know it's the one where Viserion dies, but that episode was fucking amazing. Overall, out of 57 episodes, Jesus Christ, that's a fucking hard one. I don't even know, man. I guess the Red Wedding, not that it's like my favorite, like I love it, but just it's the amount of heartbreak and turmoil I felt after watching that. I don't know. Would hitting his head on something lighter would be less devastating? He didn't get an anvil dropped on his head. Yeah, but he had his head smacked like a motherfucker on that anvil. That, along with many other things that's happened to him. Like, I don't know. This is just a wild one here. The ice cracks and he's fucking underneath the ice, and it's literally minus 20 degrees. And he somehow, after fighting for literally 48 hours straight, not getting any sleep at all, he doesn't freeze to death in that water, and he just fucking pulls himself out. And let's face it, Benjen being there to help him, yeah, that helps. But Jon probably would have been able to walk all the way back to fucking Eastwatch, and nothing happened to him. Now, you could argue that that's because he's got fire in his blood, and you can't be cold if you've got fire in his blood, but he looked like he was fucking shivering. That was just a random, I mean, I don't know, you know. It was something that I focused on because like I said, I've seen that episode so many times, and I've always wondered that. That was one of the first things before I ever made a channel, before I ever looked on YouTube or anything about Game of Thrones. When I was first watching this series, I was like, how the fuck is this dude still alive after that? Like, that's something that's always bugged me. I'm like, that makes no sense, because I've hit my head really hard. If you guys can't tell, this is a scar right here. I've had my head split the fuck open on a rock. So I know for a fact that that shit hurts, and they were very nervous about me going home and going to sleep. They took insane amount of x-rays. They made me stay in the hospital overnight. So I know how serious head injuries could be, and I just feel passionate about that. I don't know. Maybe. Who knows what that's from? I don't know. Maybe. Wait, do I remember what that's from? Oh, yeah. No, I remember. It's about, here, let me give you the full clip of that. It's about a brother and sister. They fuck. It's a meme, I'll tell you that. It's a YouTuber. He works on, I'm not going to tell you what channel he's from, because then you'll be able to find it out, but yeah. I don't know. It's about an aunt and nephew. Summarize Game of Thrones in one sentence. It's about an aunt and a nephew. They fuck. Oh man, Jon Snow is Game of Thrones Jesus. Jon Snow is Game of Thrones Martin Luther King. I've always said that Jon is Martin Luther King when it comes to famous political figures in Game of Thrones characters. Field of Fire 2.0 was ignorant. Why did she burn all the food? I don't even think she was thinking about that. I don't even think I think that may be addressed as an issue, because there was the groundwork being laid in season 7 where Sansa mentions, yes, bring all the food to Winterfell. If they're going to have to be coming here anyway, it makes sense for them to have their food here. I think that's going to come back to bite her in the ass. Yeah, I feel like, I don't know. But yeah, I'm going to do some self-promo myself. Mods, if you could please link all my social media in the chat. I have a Patreon. It's linked down below in the description. It really helps me out. Videos like these, I don't know if ads are still playing on this right now, but I'm pretty sure after I end this live stream, it's going to 100% get demonetized because of my cursing and shit. Whatever. But yeah, check out my Patreon if you want to. Really helps me out. I'm in the process of doing deeper dives into Game of Thrones, A Song of Ice and Fire, fiction, and the lore and all the good shit that goes behind it. Working those all into new videos. Gonna be coming out soon. Also, I'm very active on Twitter. If you want to get in touch with me, the best way to do so is by going to my Twitter and sending me a DM, or adding me, and usually 97% of the time I respond. I also have an Instagram account, which I do a very bad job of promoting. I'm on Instagram as well. It's sir_hunts_reviews. I post there. You get a little bit more of an insight into my daily life. Like, I posted a picture of this mini bike that I've having to be rebuilding on there. I also post pictures while I'm making videos. Whenever I do stuff Game of Thrones related, if I do like some behind the scenes kind of shit, I'll post that on there. And just pictures of my food, because that's what everyone else does, so why not? But yeah, if you guys don't have those, I'll link them down below in the chat myself. Or not in the chat, in the description of this video. But I want to thank you all so much for watching. Let me make sure I'm not missing anything here. Alpha Wolf, do you want me to start pointing out all of Jon's mistakes? Gemma, you're in the bed. Gemma, you're taking a bath right now? Nice. Hello. How are you doing? Is the water warm? Is it warm enough for you, Khaleesi? Yeah, I've been working on my Jorah Mormont impression. One thing I will say, from that panel, that I actually didn't record that panel, from the Jon of the Dead panel, Steve Love was on that, and he got on Game of Thrones for doing a good Jon Snow impression. The first fucking chance he gets, he does his Jon Snow impression. People that watch my channel know I do a Jon Snow impression too. You know I was fucking quiet. I was like, man, this dude got on the fucking show. I'm not even about to say nothing. And I can do a good Jon Snow. Winter is coming. You know what I mean? I can do a decent Jon Snow, but yeah, he was killing it. But yeah, I guess, I don't know. Mods, can you guys link some stuff in the chat? Wait, what do I have linked? Nothing. All right, so yeah, I'll go back and do that. But yeah, like I said, that's the best way to get in touch with me. My Twitter username is Sir_Hunts, at Sir_Hunts. I want to thank you all so much for watching. My name's Mark, and this has been Sir Hunts Reviews. Don't mind me, I'm just